So do you think it's a good idea to have an argument early on in a friendship or a new relationship? Is that a good thing to have? I'm Dr. Sharon Eve. This is Topics in Psychology. And I want to talk about how having a conflict early on in a relationship is really important. A disagreement, it doesn't have to be horrible or cruel or ugly. But as many of you have heard in my other videos, I talk about how everything is a communication. Everything. If we say something to someone and they ignore us, that's a communication. If we say something to someone and they take our words and twist them around and beat us with our words, or shame us, or humiliate us, that's a communication. So why is it important to have an argument or a disagreement or a conflict early on in a relationship? It can be a little tricky because in new relationships, we tend to want to minimize any differences or any areas where there might be conflict. We love relationships so much, so we focus on the things that we really like about someone and ignore anything that might be problematic. And actually, as a side note, when I have clients that I work with and they start to see somebody new, I want to hear all about them. How great they make my client feel, what my client enjoys about them. And I always ask them, if you're to look down the road, a month from now, a year from now, 10 years from now, what do you think would be the issues that you and that person would have to deal with? Because at the beginning, we just don't want to pay attention to that. But there's valuable information there. So one of the TAs when I was doing my doctorate, he was so clever, smart, articulate. I just loved him. He was so funny. And he talked about how whenever he got in a new relationship, it was really important to him to have an argument early on in that new relationship, because that's how he could see who was on the other end of the conversation. Was this somebody who could listen to differences and talk about them? Or was this somebody who was going to make him wrong for feeling what he felt or doing what he did? Everything is a communication. So when you have your first argument or your first difference of opinion with a new friend or a new person that you're seeing, what are you looking for? Look for patience and understanding. Do they get so threatened that they can't hear you? Do they get so threatened that they have to devalue you so that they can feel good about themselves and be right? Or do they have room for both of you to have your perspective, both of your sets of feelings to be considered? I'll talk about this more in another video, but there are stages in early relationships. At the beginning, which you guys probably identify with, there's a honeymoon phase where we minimize differences and everything's just peachy, and we don't show the other person the parts of us that may be difficult or that we don't feel good about. We show people our marketing program. A few months into a relationship, and it's longer if it's a long distance relationship, a few months in, the honeymoon starts to fade, and there are questions that come up about how we'll deal with differences, how we'll deal with differences in needs, whose needs are going to be important. I'll go into that in a lot more detail later, but I just think it's important to understand that that's normal. It's a way of, as you get closer, figuring out, can you dance together in a healthy way? Or is that not possible? There are some couples for whom it's just not possible to have mutual respect and mutual understanding. My last note for you here is that when we get involved in our really close relationships, our closest friendships, our close intimate relationships, that is the most incredible school to mature and to grow, to fill in things that we didn't learn, to correct things that we've come to believe about ourselves or about relationship. The person we're with, they can be a mirror for us. And every issue that we have has an opportunity to come up for healing and understanding. So having an argument, it's an opportunity. How are we going to dance together? Can we have a relationship where there's mutual support and respect, even when we're triggered, even when things are kind of scary? Thanks for coming today. Check out all our other videos. I cover lots of things, they're all kind of connected, and they each bring a little piece of something that might be helpful for you. Good to see you. See you soon.